Let's finish this off with a bang, shall we? Welcome back, everyone, to Riverbend Discovery Center. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day so far. First of all, before we begin this video, I do want to apologize for the little bit of background noise right now. I do have the fan on. It's extremely hot up here in the Northeast. Not really sure how that happens, but you know what? Global warming is a thing. So welcome back, everyone, and I hope you guys are all excited to see the final speed build of Riverbend Discovery Center. Yeah, so I was doing some thinking earlier, and I was like, you know what, I just want to finish all my projects right now. I just want to make sure that I can get everything all said and done with, like, anything that needs to be finished. So I'm finally circling back to Riverbend, because it was easily one of my favorite projects when I started, and it's really turned into such a beautiful zoo at this rate that I really just wanted to take a minute and just give it, like, you know, the finishing touches that it deserves. It was a really awesome zoo, and you can tell we're already doing the smaller details and stuff already with the foliage and the fencing and stuff like that. Nothing really too crazy. I wanted to include as much of the speed build as possible on here, like everything that I was building, just because we have a lot of stuff that we actually need to do. You can see me using the most amount of groups and stuff like that in order to place down large amount of trees. I hope you guys are able to take something away from this video as well, because being able to, I don't know, kind of replicate this in your own zoos is a really awesome trait to have. Being able to kind of put these finishing touches on your zoos is a really awesome thing that you can say you're able to do, and it really does help it come together all in the end. So what I'm doing right now is just going through all the dead areas, making sure that I put in, you know, a lot of foliage, a lot of grass, especially with the new grasses that we did get in the conservation DLC. I really wanted to use the most amount of those, and they really do come together extremely nicely. I'm very proud of that, and it really does tie in together so nicely with the rest of the build over here. So we kind of make our way throughout here and use our classic hedges over here. In case if you guys are wondering, I don't really like to use the base game hedges. They are kind of too blocky for me. I don't really like how non-organic they look, so I do use a mix of the cowberry bushes. I use like the flat ones, and I kind of put them on top of each other to make that nice little hedge look. So making our way throughout here, and I also do add a whole bunch of different trees. I'm working with a very expansive palette throughout here. I use some birch trees, I use some kind of like deciduous oak trees, and I also do use those Aleppo pines. I know they're not really the best trees up close, but in order to bring a little bit more color and a little bit more pop into your builds, I really do suggest using them. They really do help to make this area come together so nicely in the end. So another thing over here that I really wanted to do was work on our reptile house. I really didn't have many plans with this going in. I wanted to build a reptile house in here somewhere, but it really didn't kind of stick all that well, so we're kind of finishing that up right here. You can imply that they have a lot more stuff in here. I, in fact, have a few different, wow, I completely blanked out right there. Aquarium billboards. So I have a few of those going on throughout the building, and I think they really help it tie together nicely. And you can see me put a few of those guys in relatively soon, but I work on the alligator habitat, which is kind of like the thumbnail animal of this video. So I do have an alligator in here now. I actually have 4. I think I have 3 females and 1 male or something like that, just because, I don't know. I don't even know how ratios would work in the real world. I just wanted to get some alligators in here because they're a relatively low effort care animal. Not to say that you guys should get one as a pet, but to say that zoos usually use them a lot of the time, just in terms of, you know, just filling out sections and stuff like that. A lot of roadside zoos get them because they're extremely easy to breed and they're extremely easy to get. So that's kind of like the vibe that Riverbend is going off of. Lots of animals that kind of ended up in their care, whether they be like, you know, left over from days of old where they were accredited, or even some other situations that may have arisen. But making our way throughout here and starting to add the roof, I really wanted to have this be a nice simple roof, and really it looks so much better from the top down. And I really did also want to make sure that the entire section of this, you know, reptile house is completely covered from sides to top. And yeah, it really does help tie it together in the end. It really feels like it's its own solidified building, and I'm pretty happy with it. It actually turned out really nice in the end. So making our way throughout here and adding the glass. This is all going to be underwater viewing, but not necessarily 100% underwater. It kind of comes up to the glass, but it's not like you'll actually see a big change over there. It's not like you'll see like completely underwater animals. I think it's pretty good in the end. I'm not really too dissatisfied with it. And yeah, we start to kind of close off the interior as well with the kind of like fences, the walls, yeah, the walls that we actually use in the Asian water monitor exhibit. So we kind of do a little bit of that jazz over there, and we start to decorate it a little bit with our trusty faux rocks, kind of doing the same vibes as the Asian small clawed. Oh my god, I can't believe I did that again. Asian water monitor exhibit as well, so we kind of do that a bit. I think I actually will change it out for the Nile monitor now that I think about it. I feel like that would just fit it a lot better. So that's exactly what I'm going to try and do. So making our way throughout here and adding some faux rocks on the back work as well, just as a way to help keep it a little bit more, I don't know, help it feel a little bit more organic within the greater scheme of things. I feel like it looks a lot better with like the faux rocks back there rather than just like, you know, that flagstone, rustic stone wall. I think it really wouldn't look as good if we just left it as is. And we do a whole bunch of other decorating in here. We add a whole bunch of like cypress roots throughout there. I feel like those bring in like a really cool vibe to the area. And I also do kind of like block off the bottom of that glass as well, just to help give it a little bit more definition, help it feel like it's a little bit more structured rather than glass just going right down onto the path. I feel like that really wouldn't be the safest thing in the world. I feel like that really wouldn't work out too well, so we kind of make our way throughout there with that. And making our way throughout here, and we start to add some other grasses and stuff to the area. We start to make sure it feels a little bit more lush, and then we move on to the rest of the decorating of this building. Nothing really too crazy. I'm using some of the planters that we actually got in the conservation DLC. Very happy with these. They really do help spruce out an area. You just got to use a lot of them to make sure it feels like, you know, make sure it feels a little bit more solidified, if that makes sense. So we kind of make our way throughout here and add some other stage doors as well. You'd probably imply that the staff can go through some other areas, but that's kind of like the main area they would go to get to the Asian small. Oh my god, Nile monitor. I just changed it out for the Nile monitor, guys, I swear. So making our way throughout here as well, and making sure that everything is nice and organized, making sure that we kind of cap off this roof a little bit more, make it feel like, you know, it's a little bit more structured, because just having that exposed area up there, I really wouldn't trust it, because I don't know if you guys have seen like the videos of alligators trying to get through doors, but they are kind of they kind of make do with a lot of stuff. So we got to make sure that we take all of that into account, and I think we do. I think it actually turned out pretty good in the end. So kind of making our way throughout here and making sure that everything is nice and kind of like foliaged up. So we make our way doing some foliage work with the periwinkle grass. I do some other stuff over here as well, and we finally get to work on our little section, our little queue line for our boat ride. So if you guys remember, we actually did make a boat ride. I was very proud of it, except we never actually finished it. So that's exactly what we do over here. I really want to have it be nice and wooden. When I built this, I was very inspired of the Naples Zoo. It's like one of my favorite small zoos in the country. Really, really beautiful institution. I don't know if you guys remember that situation with the tiger that got shot because someone reached their arm into that habitat, but yeah, that's exactly what happened at that exact zoo. Very sad to see, but that's the zoo that, you know, we're thinking of. But making our way throughout here, we start to add a few other things as well. We start to add some windows over there, and we do a little bit of light theming in here. I was very proud of the theming, actually. It actually turned out so good. And yeah, we kind of make sure that this area feels a little bit more secure with, like, you know, all the cross beams and stuff like that. So we add a few of them across the way. And we also add some other beams kind of going through the other way, I guess like horizontally, I'm not really sure, just to make sure it feels a little bit more secure. And we also add some corrugated metal, because that's kind of the vibe that you would see with these kinds of areas. So we kind of throw some of those in right there and make sure that it feels all nice and safe. And we also add some canvas on top as well, just to help feel like it's just all those vibes. It's that kind of like defunct defunct boat station vibe. I know like Disney has a lot of that kind of theming. I was trying to throw down some enrichment down there, but like the pieces were pushing it up a little bit too high, and it just wouldn't work. So I was like, alright, screw that, I don't really want to do that all that much. So we kind of make do with our new props over here with the conservation DLC, and we also use free build to get those barrels over there. And I work on a food court. This is like the last big thing that we actually do, because I don't know, I kind of felt like I wanted to make a food court instead of a splash pad. I had originally planned a splash pad over there, but it really didn't work out all that well. I really wasn't feeling it, to be quite honest, because I feel like it would have contributed not much to the entire zoo, and we haven't had an area for guests to eat. So we have a few food trucks down here, and we kind of decorate them a little bit with like all the new pieces. Now, unfortunately, I did have path already put down there, which kind of sucks, but we kind of make do and put down some vending machines over there so the guests would actually be able to use it. Granted, there's no staff inside those right now, but you know what, all in all, I'm just happy that we were able to finish this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to drop a little like if you so choose to do. And be sure to stay tuned for either tomorrow or the next day, I'm not really sure yet, where we will have the little tour of Riverbend Discovery Center. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have been so supportive throughout this entire series. I know it really wasn't everyone's favorite build, but it was one of my favorites, and it was super fun just to be able to work on this a little bit. So thank you guys so much for watching once again. I really do appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video. Take care.